In a world where innovation meets the thrill of the ride, a legend was born. From the drawing boards of Honda's visionary engineers to the roaring streets, the Fireblade emerged, challenging conventions, defying limits. This is the long journey of the 13 generations of the Fireblade. What if I told you that one motorcycle has dominated the track for over 30 years, consistently pushing the boundaries of what's possible on two wheels? This is the story of Honda's legendary Fireblade, from humble beginnings to becoming one of the most feared superbikes on the planet. Hey riders, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the evolution of a legend, the Honda Fireblade. Whether you're a die-hard Honda fan or just appreciate engineering excellence, you're going to want to stick around until the end, because the transformation of this bike is absolutely mind-blowing. But before we start this journey, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content on legendary motorcycles. Let's dive in. The origins. Hurricane. The Fireblade's story doesn't actually begin with the Fireblade itself. To find its true origins, we need to go all the way back to 1987, when Honda released their very first sports series, the Hurricane. In 1987, Honda launched 3 Hurricane models: the CBR1000F, CBR600F, and the rarely seen CBR750F. That 750F is the bike that would eventually evolve into what we now know as the Fireblade. The CBR750F Hurricane is practically a unicorn today. It was only sold in Japan, and finding one in the States is nearly impossible. It packed a carbureted inline-4 748 cubic centimeter engine, producing about 105 horsepower and 50 foot-pounds of torque. By today's standards, its 493-pound curb weight seems dinosaur-like. But in 1987, this was cutting-edge technology. The 750F shared many components with Honda's VFR, including the forks, brakes, and calipers, plus Honda's signature gear-driven cams. First generation, 1992. The birth of a legend. 1992, the world gets its first glimpse of the Fireblade, and motorcycling is changed forever. Honda took that CBR 750 engine, increased the stroke and displacement to 893 cubic centimeters, and created a monster that produced 122 brake horsepower and 65 foot-pounds of torque. But power wasn't what made the Fireblade revolutionary. Honda's obsession was weight reduction. The first Fireblade had a curb weight of just 454 pounds, which was absolutely unheard of in 1992. To put that in perspective, Suzuki's GSX-R 750, 516 pounds. Kawasaki's Ninja ZX-R 750, 470 pounds. Yamaha's FZ 750, 489 pounds. Second generation, 1994. Refining the formula. In 1994, Honda wasn't resting on their laurels. The second generation Fireblade featured revised headlights and upper fairing, ditching those iconic round headlights. But the real improvements were under the skin-improved engine efficiency, fully adjustable front forks, and refinements to the gear shifter and upper cowl. Third generation, 1996. The evolution continues. By 1996, the third generation arrived, looking similar to its predecessor, but hiding major changes underneath. The fuel tank was completely redesigned for a more aggressive riding position. Honda revamped the swing arm and frame, updated the fork and shock, slightly raised the handlebars, and made changes to the exhaust and fuel pump. But the biggest news was the engine. Displacement jumped from 893 cubic centimeters to 918 cubic centimeters, pushing power up to 128 brake horsepower. Honda also added a throttle position sensor for enhanced responsiveness. The Fireblade was getting sharper with every iteration. Fourth generation, 1998. The weight loss program. 1998 brought us the fourth generation, and Honda's obsession with weight reduction continued. Engineers redesigned over 80% of the engine parts to reduce friction and weight. The results? A 450-pound curb weight, improved aerodynamics, and a fresh new look that turned heads everywhere. Fifth generation, 2000. The 929 Revolution. The year 2000 wasn't just the start of a new millennium. It marked a complete revolution for the Fireblade. The fifth generation featured an entirely new engine built from the ground up. This was also the first CBR to feature fuel injection, replacing the carburetors of previous generations. The new 929 cubic centimeter engine, which is why fans call this model the 929, came with a redesigned frame, new bodywork, and a full titanium exhaust. These changes dropped the weight to an incredible 428 pounds while boosting power to 150 brake horsepower and 76 foot-pounds of torque. The 929 was Honda's statement to the world: we're still the king of superbikes. Sixth generation, 2002. The 954 peak lightness. Just 2 years later, Honda pushed the envelope again with the sixth generation Fireblade. They bored out the 929 cubic centimeter engine to 954 cubic centimeters, added larger injectors and radiators, and remapped the fuel injection. The result? 154 horsepower of pure adrenaline. But here's the mind-blowing part: despite increasing engine displacement, Honda reduced the weight even further to just 424 pounds. This remains the lightest Fireblade ever made, even 2 decades later. The 954 is often considered by collectors and enthusiasts to be one of the purest sport bike experiences ever created. Seventh generation, 2004. The first 1000RR. 2004 marked a new era with the introduction of the CBR1000RR, Honda's first 1000cc Fireblade. This completely new 998 cubic centimeter engine featured dual fuel injectors per cylinder and a direct air system, resulting in razor-sharp throttle response and a massive power jump to 172 horsepower. All these upgrades came with a trade-off: the curb weight increased to 458 pounds. But with that much power on tap, few riders were complaining. Eighth generation, 2006. Refining perfection. Following Honda's tradition of major updates every 2 years, 2006 brought the 8th generation. The engine remained fundamentally the same, but Honda redesigned the intake and exhaust ports and adjusted the valve timing and shape to enhance torque delivery across the rev range. The brakes grew from 310mm to 320mm, though the discs were thinner for a lighter, more compact caliper. Other improvements included a higher compression ratio, increased redline from 11,650 to 12,200 RPM, and a larger rear sprocket for better acceleration. 9th generation, 2008. Complete redesign. 2008 saw Honda completely reimagine the Fireblade with all new fairings and a fresh 999cc engine. In a controversial move, Honda abandoned their iconic undertail exhaust in favor of a traditional side-mount exhaust to reduce weight. The new engine featured titanium valves, increased bore, reduced stroke, a new ECU, and an enlarged RAM air system. These changes pushed the redline to 13,000 RPM and boosted power to 175 brake horsepower. 10th and 11th generations, 2009 to 2010. Refining the formula. The next few years brought more subtle evolution rather than revolution. 2009's 10th generation introduced new colors and an optional electronically controlled combined ABS system, a first for the Superbike category. By 2010, the 11th generation focused on smoothing out the power delivery with a smaller flywheel diameter and refinements to add more low-end torque. Honda engineers also fine-tuned the throttle response to compensate for the crankshaft changes. 12th generation, 2012. 20th anniversary. 2012 marked the 20th anniversary of the Fireblade, 2 decades of domination. The 12th generation celebrated with revised fuel injection, cutting-edge Showa big piston fork technology, updated bodywork, a new LCD instrument cluster, and distinctive 12-spoke wheels. SP variant, 2014, the track weapon. In 2014, Honda introduced something special for the hardcore track enthusiasts, the SP variant. This premium package featured top-shelf components including 43mm Öhlins forks and shock, Brembo brakes, lightweight subframe, revised cylinder head, intake, and exhaust, new pistons and connecting rods, track-focused ergonomics with different handlebars and foot pegs. The SP stood out with its distinctive bubble windscreen, solo seat cowl, and that gorgeous tricolor paint scheme that paid homage to Honda's racing heritage. 13th generation, 2017. 25th anniversary revolution. 25 years after revolutionizing the sport bike world, Honda did it again with the completely redesigned 13th generation in 2017. This wasn't just an update, it was a top-to-bottom reimagining of what the Fireblade could be. For the first time, the Fireblade embraced modern electronics with a comprehensive package including advanced traction control, wheelie control, multiple rider modes, new digital instrument cluster, and much more. From a humble 748 cubic centimeter sport bike to the technological tour de force we know today, the evolution of Honda's Fireblade is a testament to the company's relentless pursuit of perfection. Through 13 generations and counting, Honda has remained true to their original vision, creating a powerful yet lightweight sport bike that dominates on the racetrack while remaining usable on the street. The Fireblade legacy continues to push the boundaries of what's possible in the superbike world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into motorcycle history, smash that like button and let me know in the comments which generation of the Fireblade is your favorite.